Hey, yo, welcome to the OBR streaming network. It is NFL kickoff night. It is starting, it is all beginning. We've been waiting. The season kicks off in an hour and a half or so here with a really good game. Chiefs and Ravens rematch of the AFC Championship game. What is up, chat? See you filing in here to join us on All Eyes on Cleveland. We got much to discuss tonight as the Browns prepare for Sunday, which is the start of the season. 4:25 kickoff on Fox. Tom Brady in the booth. All eyes around the country will be on the Brownies and the boys in what should be an epic way to start the season in Huntington Bank Field at Huntington Bank Field. Wow, it's tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Cleveland Browns Stadium. How's that? So, so it should be packed. My name is Brad Ward. The man next to me is the one and only Casey Kinnamon. Follow him on Twitter at Casey_Kinnamon. What's going on, Big Case Dog?
3 more sleeps. 3 more
brother.
Sleep. And NFL kicks off here. They said 8:20, probably closer to 8:30. But yeah, man, we did it. We made it here. This is it. And in my opinion, we have too much to talk about tonight. Things should be more settled than they are, but that's life in the NFL.
Yeah. This is interesting. Trying to feel a Kinnamon groupie.
Yeah, MC was just I just got off tacos and touchdowns.
Yeah, so he was watching
previewing, and MC was there, and he was a trooper, and he was commenting during the show, and he kept bringing his comments up. So thank you, MC. Good. Appreciate you.
Good. Awesome stuff.
No. Finish, nice. No. It's painted from the angle that you guys are seeing it. Yes. I will have secondary lights. I have to get another ceiling fan. I'll have a TV. I'll have posters. It's a whole thing. But right now, this is all you get because nothing else is finished around me.
I love to see the barking in the chat. That's always good. And what is up, OG Philly? It's been a minute since I've seen you, brother. Good to see you in the chat. Love that.
Big night.
Why would MC block me? I didn't have it. I didn't pick them under. I saw his tweet, but I didn't pick. I was not on that list. You better get your shit straight there, Drew. I was not on that list. I picked them to finish 11-6. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I feel you, OG. Been a busy summer. Ready to get back into being a nerd. Cool. Awesome. More barking. I love it. You guys get fired up. Thank you, Damon. All right, so we've got stuff to discuss. Unfortunately, I didn't think that, 3 sleeps until we would get this kind of news, right? But here we are. The Browns never a dull moment. If you get a second, hit like, hit subscribe. It just takes a second. It helps us out a ton. If you're watching on X, hop on over to youtube.com/Orange and Brown Report. But the news right now, how long ago did it come out, Case?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
2 hours max. It was after 5.
Yeah, David Bell waived from the roster. So he hurt his quad, right? Back a while back. Didn't participate in a ton of training camp. And then made his way onto the 53 anyways, which we all predicted, right?
Yep.
And then they cut him now, 3 nights before the season starts. Is he just not getting better? I have so many questions, right? Like, what do you think happened here, Casey?
You touched on it, man. I believe he injured his quad in at the end of the first preseason game. And he was looking good, by the way, up until that point.
He was looking great, yeah.
Yeah. And, and then they stash him. He ends up making the roster. This is a very curious time to make this move, in my opinion, because he came back to practice, by the way. It wasn't like he's just been hurt. Like, he came back on Wednesday, and it must have been, I don't know, it didn't look good, and they feel like they couldn't use him. He wasn't going to be able to to help them in any way, and they figure they might as well give that spot to someone who's going to be able to at least contribute on special teams, because he probably wasn't going to see a ton of action, with the offense right away, given the depth of that room. But yeah, man,
Still, the
curious, and that's my
decision
only
is
question.
Yeah, the decision is deeper than that, though. It's not even about just this week, because even if you felt that he was going to get better,
Yeah.
you would still stash him or whatever, make him
Oh, yeah, you just make
inactive
them
this week.
inactive, and then you just elevate one of your guys from the practice squad to do the job that you need him to do when he's healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's, thank you, Kevin Joseph, for subscribing 27 straight months over on Twitch. We appreciate you, brother, for sure. Yeah, the point is, like, they had to be willing. They had to get to a point where they put him from where they put him on the 53 to now. Something happened where they got to a point where they were okay with letting him go for good, because, to OG Philly's point, he does have to clear waivers. And you said before the show you didn't think he would.
Yeah, I mean, he was just a third round pick 2 years ago, and in my opinion, so that was the 22 draft. That's not too far enough removed from GM's minds. If they had a fourth round grade on the kid, to him just be sitting there, that's free money. It also depends on the other depth of other wide receiver rooms and what kind of piece you're looking to add. But if you're looking to add a possession receiver and he's just sitting there and he's young and, no tread on the tires, like, if it had been further, like Mikey Trees was a 6th round pick. Yep. So he was probably borderline undraftable for certain teams. So he probably, when he became available, but when you're a third round pick that becomes available, if he clears waivers, that'll be puzzling to me, and it will say something about the evaluation process. Because that's 2 third round picks, 2 consecutive years that you hit the waivers and don't get claimed from your team.
You cannot put him on PUP. You have to be on PUP from the beginning of training camp to qualify, to answer your question there, chat. Username. I think this is a big vote of confidence for Jamari Thrash, says Sean. So, potentially, yes. But to me, it's like, it has to be more than that. Yes, Thrash may have passed him on the depth chart. I'm not worried about, I don't think he did, but, like, obviously he did now. But, like, to your point, Sean, maybe they do love what Thrash is doing, but they had to come to a conclusion with him where, like, they liked enough of what he was doing all offseason in this offense to let him be hurt, sneak him on the roster, and then something from now till then, they're just done with him. Because, to Casey's point, to your guys' point in the chat, OG Philly, you could have just made him inactive for a week, even put him on the IR if it was that bad of an injury, and brought him back at some point. Why? I mean, that's a way to stash a guy you like, right? If you have to really have some finality in this decision to just cut him 3 days before the season starts. And where does that finality come from?
Unless, like you said before the show, maybe there's a backdoor deal here. Maybe it was a go wait in the parking lot type scenario. And I don't know. It's just curious because he came back from the injury, practiced for 2 days or whatever it is, and then is just poof, gone.
Quincy says it doesn't make sense, or Quincy. OG Philly says it doesn't make sense unless there's another roster move. I'm calling it lineman signing or Dunn being called up. Well, Dunn's on the IR, so he can't be called up.
Yep. How many IRs do they get to activate this year? Is it only 2?
No, it's 2 before the season. I think it's like 8 now.
Okay.
It's a lot more.
And then they didn't IR him. You could just IR the kid.
That's what I'm saying.
Make it make sense.
The limit to IR guys that can come back has gone way up in the new rules. So I don't understand asking about Ika. I don't think he landed anywhere.
Which is my point. Like, if you get 2 guys here that clear waivers, and they were third round picks for you recently. Like something's off from the evaluation.
Yeah, it's a great point. Yeah, I'm very puzzled. I don't get it, man. Like, so what is the corresponding move for Sunday? I told you off camera I thought it would be James Prochet. Um, I don't know what they have. Do you know what do they have on there? Who's their punt? They don't even have a punt returner listed on their depth chart here. Who do you think is the punt returner before this happens?
It would have still been Prochet. He just came from the practice squad.
So
you'd have burned his
elevated anyways.
Probably if you don't have one listed, and if you look at the players that, like I said it to you off air too, I would use Jamari Thrash. That's what I would do. But you make a very good point. I expect a ton of punts in this upcoming game.
Yeah.
So maybe you're just trying to field them. You're just trying to maintain possession. So you're just not taking that chance. But I would groom that kid to be a punt returner now. Like to me, that'd have been a priority just to get in the extra touches. I think he's dynamic with the ball in his hands, and he can be someone who could be a game breaker for you in that facet and work his way up till he's higher in the pecking order. But yeah, Prochet's like the safe approach, right? He can do it. He's not flashy. You don't have to worry about people poaching him off your practice squad. So I don't think you need to put him on the roster. You can just burn up his elevations.
Okay, so
before you bring him up.
Your theory was, I don't think it has, Bell wasn't going to return punts. So that has nothing to do with it. I just think that, so you thought, here's your 53 before the Bell, let's say before the Bell thing, you were kind of assuming that they were going to bring up Prochet to return punts anyways.
Well, Brad, we've talked about it. They're stashing 3 punt returners on their practice squad. Why the hell are you doing that?
But I mean,
you're doing that to elevate them and burn up their time while still maintaining roster flexibility, which you lose if you have to put the guy on your active 53.
Right, but then you're taking 7 guys off the 53 and making them inactive instead of 6.
Yeah, because you have to determine who's going to play for you that week. Who are your bottom of the roster guys that you can't expose, and they obviously just felt that Bell was expendable. It doesn't make sense to me to put Prochet on the 53.
No, and I understand that. Now, he can only be elevated 3 times until he has to come up to the
You got 3 of them.
Right, so I guess it still doesn't make sense, but to me, either way, I just thought that somebody on the 53 was probably going to return kicks, whether it be return punts.
I would use Elijah Moore. I would
Elijah
use Moore.
Yeah.
Thrash or Moore was that's the guys I'd like to see because I think they're dynamic. Now, if we're just trying to field the damn thing, okay, Prochet's fine. Prochet will at least catch it and get you a couple yards. He's fearless back there.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the move before this, but after this, that seems like a no-brainer to me because Moore is listed as the current punt returner, says OG on the unofficial, the Browns unofficial.
Yeah,
which
those things don't mean anything. The other
doesn't really mean anything. But either way, we know he can do it, and we know that, if it's not Moore, it could have been Thrash. But for this game, now that you've lost Bell, which is where we're at, right? I think that the most sense would be to elevate Prochet in his place, just because, like you said, this game I expect a ton of punts, and it's week 1 at home on national TV. I don't want a rookie returning punts back there necessarily in this situation, and I don't. Elijah can do it. I just would feel better with Prochet back there. That's what he does best, right?
In my estimation, it's the only thing that he does.
The only thing that he does, yeah. So to clear up a couple rules going through here, you guys are asking about. So OG Philly, I misspoke. I know he is on the non-football illness reserve list, which is virtually the same thing as the injured reserve list. The only difference is that his injury came before the season or not in the building, leading up to the season. So, but it is virtually the same thing. Makes no difference in how they can bring him up. He's still out for 4 weeks regardless, OG. So he is not available. 3 elevations is the limit, Drew, to answer your question. So Brad, if I were betting number plays Nick Harris at fullback would be the over on 5. Number of plays Nick Harris plays at fullback, the over, he would bet the over on 5. Do you agree or disagree, Casey?
I agree. We're going to get into it before
over?
too long. Yeah, we're going to get into it before too long, right? No, the left tackle situation's what it is. And I know who you got coming across the line. You're going to be sending everything you can out there. David, Deonta, I would send Nick Harris. I would run jumbo, put him out there, use him as a fullback, motion him out, kick out the edge just to be – you're going to need to, man. The left tackle situation is what I'll call it, is pretty precarious. And it reeks of desperation. And in desperate times, you do desperate things. So
I hope that's in jest. That's very funny if it's in jest. They are not – yeah. I don't think so. But very funny from, world's fastest fat man. So, I mean, the roster shakes up. Bell never could return punts. So it's not even a factor. I'm just saying, what's the corresponding move? What do you think is the corresponding move? Do you think, is there one? Yeah, thank you, Fred. That's for Pete. Yeah, absolutely. What is the corresponding move for you? Is it Prochet? They don't have to make a corresponding. I mean, they have to put somebody on the 53, but they could just end up being inactive. So it doesn't necessarily affect. Bell was likely going to be inactive on Sunday anyway. So does it affect this game? No. But
like, there's no one on the practice squad that you can't risk someone poaching. You don't have a guy that you're like, oh, we better get them on the active because someone will snatch him. I don't see that guy on our practice squad.
No.
I don't see the reason to bring him up to protect him. So I don't know what the corresponding move is, man. Like, I truly don't know. Are they signing a free agent off the street?
I think that's a great point. Steelers need wide receivers badly. Multiple teams do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if he passes waivers, it'll blow my mind.
Yeah. Just the timing is super puzzling. The finality of it all, because you had options to go
0 to 100, man. Seemed pretty drastic, right?
Right. Like, you had all these options that you could have just given him more time to get better, whatever. But the finality of just saying we're done with him how do you get there? He hasn't even practiced, Casey. That's my question.
Yeah,
he hasn't even been practiced. He just came back. What could he possibly have done, or what could have possibly changed from now till then? If you wanted to make room for a signing or whatever it may be, to some of your point, and you actually cared about David Bell, which it really felt like up to this point, you could have just put him on the IR. So I don't understand the finality of it all. Like, to say we don't care anymore if David Bell goes someplace else.
This is completely unfair for me to speculate, but I'm just saying that this kind of harsh move is usually accompanied by someone being arrested. Lonnie Phelps hitting a house with a car. That's what this kind of move usually is, right? When it's this harsh and this final. We don't know. We have nothing to go on. I've heard nothing bad about David Bell. I had no zero character concerns, all of those things, but just the finality and the harshness of it. And it was just dropped out of the sky on me. You know what I mean? So super odd, man. Super odd. This does not fit the model of how they go about their business.
I saw they worked out these guys, Kathy. Yeah. None of those names do anything for me. How do we know that he didn't ask to be released? I don't know why he would ask to be released from a 53-man roster.
After just getting back from injury, too.
You have no leg to stand on.
And I'll say, Brad, those two names don't do anything for me as well. But This isn't strategic, whether we're going about left tackle. This is desperation.
Sure.
There could be a
But once
desperation.
again, if you gave a crap about David Bell at all, which all indications were up to this point that he would, that they did care about him and they loved him because they kept him on the 53 despite being injured and not playing. He hasn't played or practiced at all until like a day ago.
Yeah.
So what changed? Like I'll just repeat it. What changed? Because even if it's to bring in one of these Jags that you worked out or whatever, right? It doesn't matter. There are so many other outlets. Make him inactive. Put him on the IR. There are so many other options to just hiding him somewhere until he's better. So what? He fell out of favor somehow.
No way. There's no way he went from like something happened. There's no that doesn't just
something had
fall
to
out
have
of the
happened.
sky. Yeah, it just doesn't fall out of the sky like that.
Something had to have happened.
This front office, they get credit for all the cap maneuvering. They're roster maneuvering to stay flexible, and they're at the tip of the spear with that in the league. They could, if they wanted David Bell to be part of this franchise, there was so many different avenues they could have taken other than just like bricks. You're on the street.
Yes. And Kelly, I hear what you're saying. And once again, the emergence of Thrash and Tillman, but still, that doesn't change. I mean, sure, move him up the depth chart. He wasn't going to play this week anyways, right? Yeah. Bell wasn't. So, and you can say that they emerged, but they've only emerged in practice if they've emerged. So I don't think you're banking, you know what I mean? Getting rid of him based on practice performance from Tillman and Thrash. That doesn't compute. That doesn't compute for me.
Well, they don't do the same thing. Thrash isn't a possession receiver. Like he's a different type of receiver. Like David Bell had a role, and now it was minimal. And it wasn't going to affect this week, but like you've seen what they do in third and fourth down scenarios when he's on the field. Like they just given up on that. They don't need that in their locker room.
I don't know.
It's whatever.
It's beyond puzzling.
My man Mikey Tree's still in the practice squad. Just saying.
No, and to your point, Kelly and guys, I do not think it's not a huge loss. No, it's not an impactful loss in any way. And
it's
I get
still
your
out
point.
of character for this front office is the thing that's
it's
blowing my
bizarre.
mind. This is like nothing that's happened before in the last 5 seasons. They have not had this happen. There's been like Ika, you can point to why they did it. You can't. We don't have the thing to point to be like, why'd they just give up? Like just completely gave up on a 3rd round pick.
And I'll reiterate it again here. Even if you're signing an offensive lineman, you have other paths to doing something with Bell besides cutting him. So if you want to make room for another O-lineman, which I do not think is coming, at this point, I think you have what you have. But there's 3 days. What do we? Yeah. So and so the question now is, and to world's fastest fat man. We all agree something really odd went down, and I agree. Yeah, something odd happened here. And to your guys' point, like Kelly, like it's not a huge deal. It's David Bell. It's not a massive deal. It has no impact on Sunday's game. None. Because he was going to be inactive anyways, more than likely, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So we all agree that something really odd went down, but the question is what's next? So I think what's next is I would say for me, you elevate a player. They're gonna add somebody to the 53. Who would you move up to the 53? Do you think it's somebody outside of the organization, or do you think it's just somebody from the practice squad?
The fact that it's not obvious is crazy to me. Like, there's not an obvious answer here.
There's
not someone that has to be added to the 53 that you couldn't already use in the capacity that you have them on the practice squad. So it kind of feels like it's from the outside. Maybe they're about to, in the middle of orchestrating a trade. But usually you get the corresponding move after, not before. Do you know what I mean? To make room. And it just, like you said, man, like if it was the injury, why not IR the kid and give him the whatever ramp up time he needs to get back? But just to cut bait like this, it doesn't.
It makes no sense. Yeah,
Would.
and fumble. Yeah, we've talked about the kick returner aspect, but once again, could have just elevated him from the practice squad. So, and I don't think you want to put James Prochet on your 53. Do you?
No one's going to poach him. You don't have to worry about.
You could put. They might be like, everybody in the chat seems to think there's somebody coming from outside the organization in. I don't think so.
They would make a difference this week anyway. Like I'm not.
It doesn't make a difference
something in the works, but
like,
when there is something in the works, this move happens after. It's like we traded for so and so, waived so and so to make.
Yes,
like that's how that works. You don't waive the guy before the thing happens.
Exactly.
It's just so out of character, man. This is so out of character for the way AB operates. That this type of release only happens when there's usually trouble with the law. That's usually the only time we've seen it.
Contract detrimental or something like that, which is like not even, when you think of David Bell, so out of character, right? You would assume, like, for everything you know about David Bell. So, for this week, I don't think anybody's coming in. And even if there's somebody coming in to, from the outside, everybody in the chat seems to think, it makes no difference for Sunday. And yeah, sure, they can add somebody to the 53 from outside. That's fine. I think they'll just elevate somebody to the 53, like James Prochet, because it's one less time than in the end that if you do want to use him as a punt returner, you don't have to elevate him, right? Like he can go back down. He's a veteran. He can go back, re-sign on the practice squad when you do add a player. Maybe it's Mikey Trees.
He's out there. I'm just saying. But why not make that move to begin with then? Like this, to make it play out like this.
I guess, but I'm just thinking, I mean.
You obviously don't have to have him on your active roster because you sent him through waivers and he made it. And you know what I mean? Like, so he's not in danger of getting poached either.
There's nobody on the practice squad that requires being on the 53.
So it doesn't be like we had to cut him to make room for this guy. You didn't. Obviously you didn't, or we wouldn't be where we're at today.
OG Philly trying to still stir up Ayuk rumors despite the fact that he did sign his contract in San Francisco. Didn't he? He signed his deal.
Signed. Yeah, he signed.
Yeah, he signed his deal.
There was another name involved with that wasn't David Bell, who's still here too.
Yeah. Who was it? Bell and
Newsome.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's the rumor. I don't. Yeah. These are the rumors we hear.
Yeah. I mean, I've run through this from all angles, and I know you are, OG. I was just messing around with you. I've run through this through all angles, and it just makes zero sense. They had so many other options. So something weird happened here off the field, it feels like to me.
Same.
We probably may never know. Maybe somebody gets the breaking story on it. I don't know.
If it was serious enough for him to be released, there'll be public record of it.
Okay.
If it was serious enough for him to be immediately let go, like then it'd be something substantial. It wouldn't be just like he got caught drag racing or you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean certainly, chat. I've already talked to everybody at the OBR. If I knew something, I would let you guys know. So nobody is privy to this situation yet.
Left field.
Yeah. But yeah, so way out of left field. And ultimately it doesn't affect Sunday. We'll see what the corresponding move is. They'll add somebody to the 53. I think it'll be somebody from maybe it's somebody outside. I mean, you could bring back ZMP or something like that, right?
But he made it through waiver. Like
I know.
None of this should make sense.
Is there anybody out there?
David Bakhtiari? Like who? Like where is this person coming from that you have to roster?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a tackle that they want to roster.
But
Maybe
even
the
then,
left.
man, you wait till after he's signed to do this.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I find it hard to believe David Bell was the very last man on the totem pole.
Yeah, I don't think he was either. Yeah, he would have been inactive. I don't know if it's because he's wide receiver 6, but I think it's because he's hurt still. He's only practiced one day. He's not in football shape, so he would have been inactive on Sunday regardless. But to Casey's point, which if there was an incoming like signing of some sort, this would come afterwards. So
It always does.
It always does.
It always
So
does.
this is something that just happened, and so they'll add somebody from the practice squad or sign somebody from the outside. It doesn't really matter. I do personally, I would feel better on Sunday if James Prochet was fielding punts than anybody else, just because of the enormity of the game and the stage. That if you want to put Thrash in that role, that's fine. I would wait. And if you want to put, Elijah Moore back there, that's fine too. But it may ultimately, it's probably Casey. It very well could be the same. So 47 guys are active on game day, right?
Yeah, because you get the extra quarterback.
So you get 50. Is that right? You only get the extra quarterback. I thought it was 46. Is it 46?
I thought it was 46, but I guess you can have your third quarterback dress, and he doesn't count against your inactives if he can only play if your other two quarterbacks go out.
Well, the Browns have 3 on the 53, so that doesn't apply to them.
That's true. You're right. You're right. Yeah, 46.
So
it's 46.
Okay,
then.
so 46 guys on Sunday are going to dress.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's going to be the same 46 it was before this happened.
Yeah.
Do you see that 46 changing at all?
No, I don't see
this move. I don't see how it impacts that at all. So the only way this impacts the Browns is down the line, right? What player? What's the corresponding move to the 53? So it's very puzzling for everyone. No, that's false. So Bell would have been moved first before free agent signed. That's incorrect. It's not the order of operations on that. So you can sign a free agent and then cut someone to
make room,
fill that spot. So that's typically how that goes. All right. Let's move beyond David Bell because there's much more to discuss tonight. So we've been hearing these rumors that are scaring me a bit, Casey, frightening me, okay, in that James Hudson. Where did this start? Do you know?
No. Nope. It just popped up in Slack the first time I saw it. And then
about James Hudson potentially playing at left tackle or starting at left tackle over Conklin. So God, I hope not.
I don't like the plan no matter who was going to be out there.
You don't like it with Conklin out there? I mean, it's not ideal, I'll give you that much, but it's better than what we were thinking 2 weeks ago.
We don't know that. In theory. That's all in theory. This guy ain't played. Like, we don't know. Like, not only has he not played football, he hadn't taken a rep at left tackle since 2017. Like, that's no plan. They're in full desperation mode. They so grossly mismanaged Jed's timeline they put themselves in a situation. If they knew the Jets' timeline was going to even come close to encroaching this part of the season, and then you do just train Dwan all preseason, because you can kind of get by with James Hudson at right tackle. We've seen that he cannot play left. It's not an option. It's
Jacob texted you about where it came from. He says, is it Grossy? Rusty says Grossy talked about him taking reps.
Glenn Cook said his name during a presser 2 days ago, unprompted. Thanks, Jacob. I don't know how closely Glenn is to the day-to-day personnel to know for him to have a beat on that.
This is a good question from Fumble. Did they mismanage this, or is this just Jed? See, here's the thing with Jed, right? This is a contract season. This is the biggest season of his life.
Yep.
So for him to half-ass his I just don't buy it, because it literally is. This is the payday that sets you for life, right?
Or maybe he's smarter than everyone, and you can't give up 3 sacks to Micah Parsons if you don't play.
Jeez, man.
Hey, man, look, someone screwed up, and was it the surgeon giving a wrong timeline? Was it the trainers? Was it a combination? How much of this is on Jed? How much of this is on the coaching staff for putting all their eggs in that basket? Like, it's a mismanagement.
Well, you have 3 tackles, so you had 3 starting level tackles.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you hate the idea of Conklin starting at left tackle. You don't.
That's Colin Blair's not to him.
Huh?
You ain't played this position since Barack Obama was president. Here's Micah Parsons.
I know that. Chase,
that's a terrible.
What they have is
a bad situation.
Like, how are you gonna? What other option was out there that was better than this?
What do you mean?
Besides Jed, who would you have them rather added?
The guy that you've been talking about all offseason. Why aren't we training DeJuan Jones to be over there? It's easier to get by with a right tackle than it is a left tackle.
I agree.
That's why it's mismanagement, man. Because if you had any idea that Jed wasn't going to get close to the season, then you got to get that kid reps the entire preseason. He was your first guy back.
Yeah, I agree. That was the answer. But you disagreed with that when I was telling you that.
Because that was in theory when we had 3 tackles. We don't. We have 1, and 1 we hope can play. And we don't have 3. We have 1. And that's because I don't think that's in the best interest of DeJuan. But what have I said the entire time? You got to do what's in best interest of the team. So he might have to play left tackle in the meanwhile. And you've got no left tackle.
Well, don't you think that Conklin is professional enough of a player to get through 1 game here or 2 games?
Get through? Yeah, but how effective is he going to be? Getting through, that's one thing.
You're going to have to help anyways, because you're facing Micah Parsons. So
yes,
you're going to have to double team
Josh
him.
Hines Allen. It doesn't get easier. It's
right. Yeah. So you've got Micah Parsons, who will wreck the game. He will wreck your game plan if you give him a chance. Mm-hmm. It has to be a double team on every play. You got to be taking 2 bodies to him on every play.
Yeah,
I would have said that if it was Jed over there.
That was my point earlier this week. Is I don't feel much better with Jed, because it's still, I'm going to have to allocate all my resources to this side of the line. Him. Yeah. No, it's like, and I really want David and Njoku to be able to go out for a pass. That'd be awesome. I don't know if how far is he going to be able to get away from the line of scrimmage? My guy's going to be in there double teaming damn near all night.
Yeah. We'll see.
Micah Parsons led the league in double teams last year. He had double team 35% of the time.
Stefanski will scheme something up to make. He's not going to let him ruin the game, I don't think. If he does, what?
Dude, we're just getting a taste of our own damn medicine, dude. Like, how do you think teams feel when they're playing Myles Garrett? They say the same
I
shit.
agree.
We're
I
going to just
agree. It's
scheme
the
around
same
him because
thing
we can't
across the
block him.
ball.
We can't block the dude one-on-one. We got to scheme around it. So shoes on
Right.
the other foot. Now, how does it feel? Sucks. It sucks knowing there's a guy who can completely take over the game.
Yeah.
And we also, there's an unknown factor here, and that's Zimmer. How's he going to deploy him? Like, there's a
Well,
very,
I wrote about this. They used him all over the line of scrimmage last year. So they use him on the left side, right
yeah,
side, inside. They use him wherever they can. And oftentimes under Dan Quinn, they had it. I mean, their alignments on the defensive line looked weird as hell. They would
yeah.
have like 3 on one side, they did whatever they could to get him one-on-ones when they could.
Well, they typically only moved him though when it's obvious passing downs, when they get teams in second and long and third and longs.
Yes.
So it's all about staying the hell out of that, because that's when chaos is going to happen.
That's
When
what I
they
was
start,
just gonna get to next. Is it has to
I mean, he's
be
not alone.
like
I mean, we're talking like he's not a one man band, just the way Miles isn't anymore. They have Dexter Lawrence out
Dexter
there.
Lawrence. Yeah. So you're gonna have to you have to send 2 bodies to him. You have to chip him. You have to get 4 hands on him on every play, right? And at least to slow him up. Now, in neutral situations, right? In neutral situations, you're a little better off because you have run past conflict that he has to worry about.
Yeah.
But to your point, you cannot get behind the sticks.
Nope.
You cannot get in third and longs. And this is the biggest thing that Stefanski can do to manage the situation is make sure that you are or try your best to call plays to keep you at worst in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6s, where at least run 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 4s, where at least run is in the equation, right? But 3rd and pass, 2nd and 15, all bad. So, in those situations, to your point, Drew, I think it was, you may see a lot of Nick Harris in those situations, I think.
That's my thought process is
Yeah.
you got those many bodies as you can out there, formidable ones if preferable. You really don't have a fullback on the roster now. Nick Harris, we know, can fill that role. I'd motion him out there and kind of just basically shadow. And it sucks too, because we wanted to see this new wide open offense. Are we really going to get to this week? Like,
listen, when you say new wide open offense, I've kind of come to the. We can talk about this a little bit too. You're watching All Eyes on Cleveland here on kickoff NFL night. Big game coming up here in about 45 minutes to kick off the NFL season. Hit like, hit subscribe. We're talking week 1. So I think the offense will be more spread out at times, and they're going to want to push the ball down the field and stuff. But I think a lot of what they're doing is just trying to create easy answers. And so I don't think that. I guess my interpretation of the offense is kind of like a little of the old, some of the new, and whatever works in a given situation. But I do like the stuff that they've added as far, and I've talked to you about this a lot, as far as, short motions and choice route stuff, because I think you can win on leverage stuff that other teams have been taking advantage of for a couple years, right? So
to your point, with a lot of the interviews that we've heard this offseason, what's the first thing they talk about? Stressing teams horizontally.
Yes.
So that you're going to have to. It's going to have to be a more quick game than I wanted to see, to be honest with you. Like, you're going to have to run.
I think it has to be at least until you have a feel for how you're managing Parsons. So like in the scripted plays, talked about this and wrote about it. But in the scripted plays, I think you're going to see a lot of really quick, like, let's get Deshaun some easy completions early, like snap back, throw it before, some set stuff that's just like, we're going here with it. We're going there with it. It should be open. Like scheme somebody wide open, get him some easy, quick completions to get his confidence up, to get his timing back because he didn't play in the preseason, and to slow down Parsons early in the game. He's going to be a problem all game. They're going to have to manage it. They're just going to have to manage it. I mean, the same thing goes on the other side. They're going to be dealing with the same thing with Myles Garrett. Same exact thing.
Yep. Yeah, rookie getting his first start, and he gets to look across to Myles Garrett. They're going to be sending Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker, or whatever Scooney's name is.
Schoonmaker.
And then Zeke is going to get his fill out there as well. So, yeah. Now, like I said, we're just getting a taste of our own medicine. It just feels harsh, but it's like, teams have to deal with this every single week when you play us. Unless you have like one of 3 tackles, you're screwed when you play one of these literally like ultra game wreckers.
I'll tell you this. I felt better, much better with the idea of Conklin being out there because I know that he has Pro Bowl talent. He's a Pro Bowl talented tackle when healthy. So he at least, I think, can slow down a guy or do what is needed and is smart enough to to help. Even if he has help, he'll like understand, where the play is going and things like that he can kind of manage the situation to a certain degree. Not saying he'll be great, but if it is James Hudson, I don't know what to say. We've seen him all preseason. He can't play left tackle.
It's not an option at left tackle.
He can't play left.
It's not an option. And I don't feel much. The whole Jack thing was like, that's all in theory. We haven't seen it in so long. And he's had so many injuries. To expect him to get his first live bullets against that thing, that's unfair to him, man. It's unfair to him. But it's professional. This isn't the preseason. This isn't, we're not going to play Watson because of our left tackle issues. You got to play the game. You got to figure it out. You got to mitigate it in any way you can. And we're going to get to see how it happens. But just like we talked about at the very beginning, I expect a shit ton of punts.
You are really down on the idea of Conklin playing left tackle in this game.
Yes. I mean, yes. Like, it's desperation. I don't like any move that's made in desperation. And you can't tell me this.
I'm not as in dire feeling about that situation as you are.
That's fair. I don't know how anyone could feel good about it. Just look at the facts.
I don't feel good about it at all.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to feel bad. Whatever the plan you're telling me is, I'm going to say it's a bad plan because it's not going to work. It's just
okay.
I think he so many injuries, man, and you hadn't played left tackle. He hadn't started the game at left tackle in the NFL. He's taken some reps his rookie year, when Taylor Lewan went out. But like, that's rough, man. And it's a tough draw. Like, is one of like
working on it for 2 weeks. He needs to get by. I know it sounds stupid. He needs to get by a week. He needs to do this for a week.
Because what? Next weekend the cavalry comes?
Jed. He practiced yesterday.
And he practiced inside today. He didn't even stack 2 in a row.
He did not practice today.
So we think he's going to be here next week? I don't.
He said he was DMP today, but he did practice yesterday.
Well, when in full disclosure, when Pete put in the Slack that Jed was practicing, I'm like, oh, okay, there we go. But then you hear Jed talk, it don't sound like he's right around the corner.
He already said he's not playing on.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't sound. I don't feel like to get by 1 week. I think it's.
But that's this Sunday. Okay, 2 weeks then. 2 weeks, whatever it may be. Okay, but Jed's coming back eventually. No,
I don't know.
Do you? I don't. For his career?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. There was zero part of me.
No, he's coming back in a couple weeks. What are you talking about?
No, we don't. We would have said this exact same thing at camp when they were in the Greenbrier. We would have been like, he's going to be back in no, man, it's a couple weeks. And then it was we got 3 weeks to figure this out. And 3 weeks has come and gone. And it's no closer to figure it out than it was 3 weeks ago. So for me to say that I know he's coming back, I don't know he's coming back. I don't know. I wish I knew.
He's coming back this season.
What is that? What is this season?
And likely, I mean, if he's practiced yesterday, then he's probably coming back in the next couple of weeks.
If he stacked 2 in a row, I'd feel way better about it than him practicing one day and not the next. You're not going to
Jesus.
get me to feel good about it, Brad. It's
I'm
not
not
going to
trying to
happen.
get you to feel good about it. I'm trying to tell you that he's going to be back in a couple weeks. That's not even make you feel good about it. That's just a reasonable expectation, I think.
I think we're way beyond reasonable expectations.
But
He
we
had this,
don't
he had,
know
he had
about
this,
his rehab. We don't know the
yeah, no,
details of his rehab. We don't know what happened. We don't know if there was a setback.
no, we
We
don't.
don't know what happened. There
So then
had to have
how
been.
can you tell me you're confident he's going to be back in 2 weeks if we don't
Because
know?
he's on the field now. That's a difference, though. Once you're out of rehab and on the field, I think that changes things, don't you? Once you're done
Well,
rehabbing and actually on the field practicing, don't you think that changes an expectation for timeline?
it's
How
still
can you say
unknown
that doesn't?
because it's still unknown because 2 weeks is so arbitrary. There's
Okay.
no way, dude. Like, is he in contact drills? Because there's levels to being on the field for practice.
All right.
We've seen guys hang out at practice.
You want to bet?
Do you want to bet he's coming back? You give me the
Yeah.
date. I'll tell you whether I'll bet you or not.
He'll
You
be
tell me
back
the
by
date.
week. He will play in week 3, no doubt.
What happened to week 2? You're not going to do that one?
I'm trying. I said a week
Mhm.
or 2.
Well, a minute ago
You
was to
seem
get
to
by
be
a week.
so like he's never coming back. We
No,
know
I'm not saying that.
nothing.
I'm saying that we can't say we know anything. We
But
can't.
we can. But when he's on you can't just admit that him actually getting on the field is progress.
No, it's true. No, I did not say that. It's not. It's trending in the right direction, but I am nowhere confident that he's like back to be game ready.
Okay, I don't think he's game ready right now either. He even admitted that. But 3 weeks from now or 2 weeks from now is a long time for a tackle. No?
We said that 3 weeks ago, and we're here now.
But he was in rehab then. He wasn't even on the field then, Casey. He wasn't even working towards getting game ready then. But now he is.
We don't know what he was doing inside. We have no idea what he was doing inside. I know you're basing all this on being on the practice field for one day.
Yep, I am. I think
Okay,
that returning to practice is a huge step.
I'll bet you that he's not playing next week.
You don't think returning to practice is a big step?
I didn't say it isn't. I'm just saying I don't feel comfortable that he's on that close to being ready to play.
Okay. But you won't bet me on week 3?
You won't bet me on week 2.
I won't, because I don't know if he can get ready in 1 week. I don't know if anybody can get ready in 1 week.
Yeah, that's facts.
So that's I mean, and I am not. I don't feel great about Conklin running out there, but I feel better about him running out there than James Hudson.
Yeah, and 100%. For me, James Hudson's not an option. It's not even an option.
I don't know why Glenn Cook is talking about James Hudson. That will enrage me if they do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe Conklin can't do it worth a lick. I have no idea. But neither can Hudson.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
There's no good. That's my point. There's no good plan right now. Basically the Browns are making chicken salad. A left tackle.
So this all stems from last season, which is the most frustrating thing of all.
Yep.
Is that it's 2023 injuries lingering into week 1 of 2024. Like, how did we get here? Like, how is that still an issue?
How am I longing for Jerron Christian? Like, how did you let it get to this point? To where, like, I would just love to have that dude out there right now.
They could have had him.
I know.
I don't know. I don't get it. Puffy. We have Puffy on and ask him what's going on. All right. We've talked about key 1 to victory, right? I think it's the most, if not probably the most important factor is trying to slow down Micah Parsons. Would you agree?
Yeah, for me, it's staying ahead of the sticks. Yeah. That's the only way that you can mitigate that. Because if Ford's not getting 3.5 to 4.5 yards on first down, and you're constantly living in 2nd and 9, 3rd and 8s, man, you're in T's and P's, man. It's going to be tough sledding.
He did not put the so a couple weeks ago he walked out and did a couple reps and went back inside. Yeah.
Mhm.
But that once again, to Casey's point, we're only privy to like 15 minutes that the beat reporters are standing around with their cameras. So we don't know what is going on all around the rest of the time that they're practicing, inside, outside. Like none of that is available to the press now at this point in practice.
Yep. And unfortunately, we cheer for a team that gives out the least information. Like,
None.
so we're just
Yeah.
because if there was a setback, we would be the last to find out. They'll never come out and say so and so suffered a setback. They're going to say the same language every time. He's working his tail off and he's close. That's what they always say, no matter the injury or who it is. So we're not going to find out from them.
Oh, gee, they should have drafted a left tackle anyways.
Bam. Yes, it was a great draft to draft a left tackle.
And there was their guy on the table there.
Sumatea.
Yeah.
He'll be starting tonight here in about 22 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? All right. So what else do you have as keys here? So there's one other mismatch that I have highlighted after watching. Oh, first of all, I wish I had that clip. Oh man, the clip you sent me was so good. So that same show was on the React last night. I don't know if you saw it, but it was we did the Talking Cowboys on the React last night. But anyways, to the people in the chat, there's a clip today. Case sent me of this guy going, I think that the weakness where the Cowboys can take advantage of the Browns is Emerson Jr. Please,
dear God, try that.
Throw it at my boy.
Do
it.
that.
Test him all day, please. Anyways, very funny. You're watching All Eyes on Cleveland. Casey Kinnamon, always fantastic. Next to me, my name is Brad Ward. Hit like, hit subscribe. You're watching the OBR streaming network as we get you ready for Week 1, 2024. Some weird happenings here tonight, but big game on Sunday. Not affected by Bell. We'll see what happens with that, but very peculiar stuff as we've hashed out here. The other mismatch I want to highlight here is a guy named I love this, right? I love this matchup. Kalen Carson.
Listen, yeah.
Kalen Carson, 5th round corner, gonna start opposite Trayvon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
Huge mismatch for the Browns here. You've got to target this guy all day. If I'm right.
Well, if I'm them, I look at the whoever's playing. If whoever's playing the slots, you get Jordan Lewis. Lewis gives up for a career. He's just under 70% completion percentage when targeted, and then you got a 5th round rookie from Wake Forest opposite. So I would just stay away from Diggs, and pepper that rookie, make him prove himself. Now he's been tearing it up in camp, so the Cowboys are high on him.
They are,
but this was not the plan. Deron Bland goes down, and then this kid's just thrust into it. So whenever you got Judy out there on him, if you can manage to scheme a way to get Amari on him more, yes, you have to feast on that. You have to test that kid and make him prove he's up to snuff.
Jacob is right too. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Casey. I mean, all three of those guys should be able to route this dude up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how much Emerson Slander I can take either.
Just tell on yourself for not watching tape. This guy's like the weak link. He's like, I think the weak link where you can attack this team is Emerson Jr. It's like, what are you watching?
He's like their film guy. I mean, what are you watching? And
they're just name shopping. They're like, oh, Denzel's a name. Delpit's a name. They don't know MJ Emerson, so that must be the guy. Like, okay.
I'm so tired of hearing people list, the Browns got great corners, Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome. And I'm like, the slander, he's slept on so badly. I think he finished 4th in completion percentage when targeted and 1st in QB rating when targeted, yet
0 touchdowns on my man, and he was targeted
0 touchdowns,
79 times.
yet not in the top 25s, not in the top 10s, but Newsom was. I don't get it. Anyways, he will be recognized after this season. I'm calling it. I mean, he's already had a breakout year, just nobody noticed because there's so much talent on the defense.
Well, I said that on the Barking Browns. He doesn't even have to play better. If he turns in the exact same year he did last year, he's going to get the accolades just because the consistency and stacking.
Yes, 100%. So that's the other big, disadvantage I see. In watching from the Cowboys' perspective, they have real doubts about their ability to stop the run. I have real doubts about our ability to run the football.
Yeah, there's that's it. Yeah, I mean, this is a point that was brought to me by Jacob earlier this week, and I will say this: that might be the only saving grace to having Jack Conklin on the field is you running to the left might be back on the menu because it's been off the menu. Yeah. So that could be the one saving grace that doesn't exist. If Hudson's out there, you're still not running to the left. You're becoming one-dimensional. And honestly, man, I think this is a Deonta Foreman game.
I do too.
Give me 4 yards, man. Fall forward, bro.
Fall forward. About that today.
Just give me the third and short. Give me the third and short.
Yeah, I think you want to use Ford in the passing game and sprinkle him in the running game. But as the game goes on, I think you may find that in this game script that Foreman may be more effective in the kind of runs they're going to need to get with the way the offensive line is aligned right now.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So that's something to watch for sure. Okay. We talked about Parsons. What are your other mismatches? What are your other keys, concerns that you want to hit on here for Sunday?
Okay. The Cowboys typically, realistically, only target 2 players heavy on their team, and that's CeeDee Lamb, who you're not going to stop. We're more positioned to slow him down than anyone. But he's still going to get his. But I think you can stop their number 2 target. I think if you blanket Jake Ferguson with Grant Delpit, I think you take away that second option and you try to make them funnel the ball to Jalen Tolbert. If Tolbert beats you, great job. But I just think that Delpit, if you look at what he was able to do in that second matchup with Baltimore on Mark Andrews, that's the script. You take that option away because CD's going to get his, man. You can keep him from wrecking your game because you're talented enough back there in that corner room. But he's a very good receiver, and the way the rules are skewed, I'm sure they'll find a way to connect. But I think you can literally shut Jake Ferguson down and really kind of cut this Cowboys offense off at the knees.
I agree 100%. I do think that our defense is well equipped to slow this offense down, especially in week 1 at home.
Yeah.
With the crowd, the noise. This defense will have a great game plan, and they'll be moving miles all over, and they'll be trying to exploit Guyton with games and whatnot. And I just think that the same recipe that we can't get into, they can't get into either. I mean, third and pass is going to be disastrous for them, just as it would be for us. World's fastest fat man. The boys' run D is suspect. It is suspect. Well, at least they've been talking about it. Now, they're kind of high on their new linebacking core. They think that is going to solve it. Although the issue for me more with them than Overshown, and they signed somebody else too.
Damone Clark.
And they have
Wanye Thomas.
No, they brought Eric Kendricks and
Tackle machine. He's basically brought into Jordan Hicks.
Zimmer. Yeah, he played with Zimmer in Minnesota. He comes over. So, but Overshown and this Maurice Liafu guy, right?
Notre Dame.
Yeah. So those, and they're really high on those guys. The issue for me where you might be able to exploit them is, Osa. I don't know how to say his name.
Diggy,
Igadizuawa. Anyways,
I'll
that's
get
not
it.
right. That was terrible. It Igadizua. Igadizua?
We gotta get a nickname for this
They
guy.
call him Iggy. They call him
Yeah,
Iggy.
yeah. Let's go.
All right.
Go Iggy.
Anyways, but
Go
he's
Diggy Zua.
more of like what is it?
Go Diggy Zua.
Oh, Diggy Zua. All right. So he's more of a pass rush guy. Like he's kind of like a lot of what the Browns have. He's a 3-tech. He can get
Maurice,
after the pass. Right. So and Mozzie Smith is not been good so far, and he's their nose.
And he's battling injury.
And,
He's still coming back from injury.
So if you can win at the point of attack with Pochik against him, I mean, you might be able to run the ball.
Yeah, and vice versa. They have a rookie starting at center. That is another place to look. Cooper Beebe, who I was high on as a guard. I didn't see him moving to center, being on the cards, but get Dalvin lined up there as much as possible. Try to wreck shop up the middle. You already know what you're doing, going to do off the edge. So that would be one other. Oh, weather's delayed the return of football.
Of course it did. Of course it did. All right, what else you got for me, big dog?
For me, this is going to be a slugfest on defense, sprinkled in with some big plays, right?
Yeah.
So the key for me is offensively, I just want my possessions to end in a kick, and I don't give a shit if it's a punt. You cannot give this team a short field. They're going to have a hard time moving that ball. So just take away, limit your turnovers. I hate to say it because I want to see something exciting, but buckle down, be turnover resistant, and just kick the ball, man. Field goals, punts, it's all good to me. This defense is going to choke out Dallas.
So this brings up an interesting point. So last year, every game, stop turning the ball over. No turnovers. Rusty just said it. No turnovers. It's a point well taken. They can't. And every even if you have to be a little conservative at times, you let your defense win this game.
Yep.
And they should be able to. I truly believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But last year was a turnover nightmare all year.
Yeah.
They're due some regression to the mean here. But while I say that, they're still dealing with injuries from last year.
Yeah, that's
in week 1.
So underestimated what they were able to do last year with all the injuries they had, that those injuries have bled over into this season and we're still dealing with them. That's
right. So I bite my tongue when I say, yeah, they're due some regression to the mean. Yeah, well, they were due some better injury health too, and they're still dealing with the shit from last season. So, but you're right. They can't turn it over.
No short fields. If you're going to turn it over, let it be on a bomb. Take a shot deep, and you'd be a pseudo punt. You know what I mean? You can't do it on your end, though.
You can't give this defense will win you the game unless you give them opportunities in the red zone undeserved.
Yep.
Turning it over in your own end, muff punt, special teams play, whatever it is.
Pick six, scoop and score. We just think about week 2 against Pittsburgh. Yeah. You would be better off just kneeling the ball in 3 straight plays and punting than doing what you did. The defense would have won that game.
That was in my opinion, one of the few times I've really gone after Stefanski in that situation. They had no business dropping back to throw in that situation.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Get it out of there.
Yeah.
That to me, that was like a miss on feel for the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't going to score on you.
Read the room, man.
Read the room. Yeah, get out of there with the win.
Yeah.
And to your point, I will add this. This does not have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty. You come out of this game on national TV, week 1, your defense looks strong. Deshaun looks average. I don't care while it is an opportunity for him to take a step forward, no doubt, you can win this game sloppy, and you're still going to get recognition because it's the Cowboys, and it's a big win, and so to that exact same situation comes up. I don't care if he's conservative at times. Just get out of there with the dub.
Yeah,
Right?
don't lose the game. Don't cost yourself the game trying to do too much, trying to open up and show us more of the playbook. I don't care how buttoned down it is. And I'll say this because when this game was first announced, I've seen some people and I felt great about it. It's because for me, this is the weight of expectations. This is a huge stage against the most nationally recognized team. You get probably the most anticipated debut of an analyst who's going to be coming in to call the game. All eyeballs are going to be on this. If you've seen the TV map, it's like
It's
98% of the country is going to be watching this game. And I was like, yeah, that's the stage we need to be on, because for years we'd want to play at 1 o'clock and sneak in. It's like, well, announce your presence with authority. And now that we're this close to the game, I'm just like, I don't give a shit if you win 13-12, dude, get by, squeak this one out. If you want to be pretty week 3 against the Giants. I think this is
totally agree.
Factor now.
It is an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Though, as I don't know if you read things I think I know when I wrote about this is an opportunity to make a statement potentially, right?
Yeah. Stages don't get much bigger than this opening week.
Doesn't get much bigger than this. So, and the one, me and Pete were talking about this last night a little bit. The one thing that does make me feel a little bit better, and it may not you, I don't think it will, but from every Browns player, 1 through 53, who has taken to the podium or spoke or whatever, they seem loose, comfortable, and confident. Not braggy, not anything else, but they seem confident and loose. And while we've heard this mixed bag of reviews from camp and this mixed bag on Watson, they all seem very confident in what they're doing. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you want them playing tight. You want them to have that mentality. The coaches can do it differently. The coaches can take that approach differently, but the players themselves. And when I talk about the weight of expectations, I'm not talking about just nationally. I'm talking about internally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you got to hold yourself to a higher standard. I primarily look at the defense for this, man. I think they understand the weight of what's in front of them, and they know what they're capable of. And for the most part, they're as healthy as they're going to be this season going into this first game. So it's on them. And the way I'm looking at it,
nationally, they've been disrespected, I think.
Nationally, you would think that we're just the plane's already hit the mountain.
Yep.
You know, but I did obviously, because I heard a lot of playoff predictions, and someone gave their playoff predictions. I forget what show I was watching, but they said that realistically, you could look at the AFC and only one team did not get worse, and they listed the Chiefs. They said every other team has gotten worse. I would love you to point out where this team got worse from last year. Yeah, I would love to hear it. I would love. No, you had a great defense, and you upgraded. You upgraded your linebacker. Yep. You upgraded your defensive tackle.
Yeah,
like you get a healthy Juan Thornhill. Like you did not get worse.
That's an absurd statement. Yeah. No truth in that at all. All right, we're up to an hour and 20 minutes here. I do want to get out of here before the game starts, but I guess the kick got pushed back, so we got a couple.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so I did want to do this.
Mother Nature's an AOEOC fan, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So I used to give these out, right? Brad Ward game day special parlay. I used to give them out on when me and Jake did game day.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing it this year. So I've got your game day parlay, your Browns parlay. If you want it, I want to talk through it with you. See if
all right, man. I got my pen.
All right. So just for you D-gens out there, It's minus 2.5, over under 42.5. Money line is minus 145 to the Browns, plus 120 to the Cowboys. And what do you think of that over under case? 42.5.
That's
Under?
high.
Yeah.
That's high. I'm taking the under.
Yeah.
I'm taking the under. I think that one of these teams is not making it out of the teens.
Yeah.
I think for sure. So I would look. I think if we're going off my prediction, I think I had them at 33. Then I think this is a low scoring game. I could see anywhere from the neighborhood of 21-17, 20-13, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah. Thank you, Rusty. Hit that thumbs up button in the chat and hit that subscribe button. As I think somebody mentioned earlier that we did pass 3K subscriptions during the show. So that's awesome, guys. Thank you. We are building back up, and we appreciate it. It's so weird. Some people out there subscribed so long ago, and they're like, "Where did this go in my feed?" And they don't realize that they have to resubscribe. It's a separate channel. So if you know anybody like that, give them a nudge them and say, "Hey, you gotta go subscribe." They're doing 2 shows a night, 5 nights a week. This is crazy over here. This is where you get your best Browns content. Let everybody know. So
Tell a friend, tell a foe, tell everyone you know.
and there you go. That's right. That's exactly right. Well said. Well said, my friend. All right. So this is a traditional play for me. I always go here with the Browns because it often hits. It's usually the
Kickers?
first leg of my parlay.
Going
Okay?
kicker?
No, I didn't even look at kicker this week. So first leg of parlay, usually go here. It's receiving yards for the back. So I've got Ford over 15.5 receiving yards.
Yes. Hammer that.
Right?
That is
okay. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So that's leg number 1.
That's two catches. That's 2 receptions.
That's what we always say. That's always where I look. I feel like the books are always soft on that number, especially with the Browns.
Yeah.
So yeah, and especially with Ford too. And it's like they moved it like the number like 2 yards for Ford, which is crazy.
There might be a market correction over the course of this season because I think people are going to catch on because I don't know. Last year, the only running back that had more touchdowns receiving than him was McCaffrey. Like they look for him as the outlet. He's not really routing cats up, but like they will dump off to him often.
Yeah. So he's going to get a lot of touches, I think, in the passing game. And like you said, that could be one catch, one screen, and an outlet. You know what I mean? Whatever. So 15.5. That's leg number 1. All right, leg number 2. The line on Amari Cooper catches, I feel, is low. It's at 4.5. I think he gets at least 5 in this one. So I'm going over 4.5 catches on Cooper.
There is a rookie on the field and a guy in the slot who gives up receptions 70% of the time when he's targeted.
100%.
They're going to move Cooper around, try to get some mismatches, and revenge factor. This is the team that he came from. This is the team that we got him from. You don't think he wants to show out here?
I love a revenge game. I love it. I love it. Okay. So you like that one?
Yeah, it's Coop.
5
Coop,
catches.
I'd say week 1, Coop 6-7 catches.
Yeah, piece of cake, right? All right, so that's 2 legs. Leg number 3. Dak Prescott over a half interception.
Okay, so what we're talking about from our point of view is going to be a ton of quick game. They're faced with the same kind of proposition. Sure. But I think they're going to be more apt to try to take shots because they have CeeDee Lamb. So I think that ball is going to be in jeopardy more. So do I think he's over half? So does he throw a pick?
Yeah, he just has to throw 1 interception. I think he does.
Well, there's a weak link on that team in Martin Emerson. Maybe they target that.
Maybe they try him, right?
Yeah, I think you can count on this team, this secondary, to get you 1 pick.
That's where I'm at.
One pick.
Week 1, 2. Guys not on the same page sometimes. He's going to be under pressure, hopefully, and some third down and longs. So I think
Batted passes at the line. Like there's
exactly, there's any variety of outcomes that, I mean, you could still have a really good day and come away with one interception. So, hopefully not, but that's where my gambling mind goes. Okay,
this isn't
so
part of the bet, but if you had to propose which player gets the interception, who would you lean on? Not part of the parlay, obvious, but just I think Juan Thornhill.
either JOK or Emerson.
I feel like Juan Thornhill's due. I feel like him being healthy, being rangy.
Yeah. I mean, he just being back there might be enough, under
Mhm.
pressure. You could just catch it playing center field, So
Someone in the chat,
says
Rusty just said delp it. Well, that's also the option. The awesome thing is we have this many options of guys who could realistically get a turnover,
make a play on the ball. Yeah, I mean, these guys are looking to make a play on the ball. They're looking to turn them over. So, I like that as leg 3. Okay, leg number 4 for those of you that are going to be riding this one with me. We had a good group of people playing these last couple of years. Kind of caught on, and because we hit a few in a row, so hopefully get some people that give it a run with me here. All right, so I have Dak over 11.5 rushing yards.
See, now, have you looked at the data on it? Like, what's the average a game? What's the average over the last 8 games of last year?
I did look at the data, but I don't have it in front of me. Hold on.
But did it look favorable for that? I just because I don't watch enough Cowboys games, although they're on TV all the damn time.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't watch enough to know what his propensity is to pull it down and run, because they're not called runs with him.
No.
He's not immobile either.
No. But I always see him running for
in a contract year too. Like he might
scrambling for a first down and all right.
I would say this. I would rely on the data for this as opposed to my gut intuition, because I don't know.
So hold on a second here. What is this? This is recent games. Let's see all. Hold on. So for the 2023 season, rushing, he ran the ball. I need an average here, not a total. So I guess his average is below that. So he's at like 4.5 yards. But there's a lot of games in here with like 5 carries, 25 yards, 4 carries, 27 yards, 7 for 23, 2 for 17, 4 for 19, 7 for 40, 6 for 14, 3 for 24. I just think he's going to be under pressure so much.
Oh, yeah. He's 100% going to be under pressure.
That he's going to get out, and he's going to have to get out and try to run with it at times.
I mean, I hear that rationale. I could also see a world where he's just trying to get rid of the football, just trying to get rid of it.
So I like it.
Out of the 4, that's definitely the one I feel the least.
Okay. Case is down on the rushing yards. I understand that. I'm going to roll with that one. All right. So those 4, just so you know, those 4 bets, which I think are achievable. And that gives you a plus 950. So $10 wins you 105. You probably get a bonus on this game for just being in Ohio on like DraftKings or whatever. So it'll probably get you like 125 or 140 for $10. There you go. Now I add a 5th leg. If you want to get, here's the spicy leg, right?
All right, let's go.
The spicy leg gets you all the way up to plus 200. So $10 wins you 210, right? If you add the 5th leg, and that's Jerry Jeudy over 40 yards.
I feel great about that.
Yeah,
because I feel like he gets that matchup with Jordan Lewis and Kalen Carson's the majority of the time. He's going to draw one of those two people. And like you said, I think the game plan is going to be quick, easy answers. And I think that Judy's probably the prime candidate for that, especially when he's working the slot. So yes, I would say I feel Judy's going to end up in that 60 to 70 yard range.
I've also got a number of wagers on tonight's game, but I won't get into those. So, but there we go. So, yeah, Delpit will play a big role on Ferguson, right? And he is, Sam Monson called him the elite tight end stopper in the NFL. So he's shown signs of being able to do that, certainly, or games of being able to do that. Okay. Yes. All right. Here we go. So, and then there's a couple other things in the chat. So, Surge here, I thought this was interesting because they talked about this a lot yesterday on the national show, right? Get Up. We did on the React, we did Get Up, and Andrew Hawkins was on, and they were talking about CD. Do you think CD plays a full complement of snaps, being he hasn't practiced much at all because of the holdout? He hasn't. And Hawkins went on to say he's not in game shape likely, and he thought he'd be like 85%. I thought that was crazy. I think he's been working out the whole time. I expect a 100% CD Lamb in this game.
Okay, well, we're going to go to the data on this and see what he normally racks up. Okay.
Oh, it's absurd.
What does he normally rack up in a normal scenario here?
Snaps, you mean?
No, just a percentage of snaps that he plays. So in 2023, he played 84% of the offensive snaps.
Yeah. So
I feel like it's probably slightly below that then.
Maybe like 75 or 70.
Yeah. But not a lot. Yeah, not enough to be like, oh man, he barely played. But he's a massive investment coming back. You don't want to overexpose him, but he's also your best playmaker.
Yeah. I just think, I think we're crazy to think that he hasn't been.
He has not just been chilling on the couch.
No, he's been working out like crazy. Like they were like talking like, the hamstring injury that wide receivers get early in camp. Like, although he wasn't at camp, he's been working.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway from watching this Dallas offense when I was getting ready for this game is that young man is filthy.
He is. He's unbelievable. He plays physical. He
great
plays
body
nasty.
Control, attacks the catch point.
That the Browns are fortunate they have the guys they have in the secondary.
Yeah, there's well equipped as anyone.
Yeah. Do we know if Newsome is going to be 100% for this game?
I think it'd be foolish to assume he would be.
Yeah. Limited.
And hasn't been back that long. I think that he'd probably be on a snap count as well. I don't think they're just going to let him just. And you have options.
Yeah.
I do expect him to play. If you'd asked me that 3 weeks ago, I'd have said not a chance in hell. So he's surpassed my expectations, just being ready to go at this point. So.
Yeah, you absolutely have. Listen, you're not going to shut down CD Lamb, but you can limit him. And if you limit him to like under 100 yards, then I think they're doing well.
Okay, so we keep talking about this changeup, and we for the defense, and we almost assume that it has something to do with like disguising coverages in zone. But one thing they could do that would be a changeup from what they did last year is allow their defensive backs to travel. And if I'm doing this, if I'm looking at this defense, Denzel's getting Brandon Cooks. I think that he's perfectly equipped to match with that kind of quick twitch play. And I'm putting MJ on Lamb, and I'm shading Thornhill over the top. And I'm slid. Denzel, like obviously the concussion was unfortunate, but it happened at a time where it exposed Emerson to get to take his reps up against Justin Jefferson for that entire joint practice. And he relished that. Like that.
He did.
And they had back and forth. Like it wasn't, that was not a one-sided matchup. Yeah. So
very similar player.
Yes. That's my move.
Yeah, I agree. We talked about this. I wrote about it and things I think I know about the corners traveling. and the matchups. Like, so the problem is that Lamb, to your point, pointing this out to me,
Mhm.
plays over 50% of his snaps from the slot.
Yeah.
So this was my thing that I wrote about and said that, like, okay, so even if you're going to play Ward or Emerson on one side or the other, just have them either one be prepared to go inside if Lamb's in there.
That's why I don't want it to be Denzel. I want Denzel nowhere near the slot
The run
position.
game.
Yeah, no, I don't want it. I don't want it for him. But Emerson, I would, and then you could just kick Greg on the outside, where I think he's better equipped anyway.
Yeah.
So that would be my move, man. That would be my move.
Just have them, switch that whenever he's on Emerson's side, right?
Mhm.
Now you may still end up with him. They're gonna get
Yeah,
plays where
we're
Newsom's
going to get
gonna
Amari
throw.
on their rookie. Like, it's going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
same thing on our. They're going to move CD around, but the difference is our top three corners versus their top three corners it's not a discussion.
Great point. All right. What was your prediction for this game?
20-13. 20-13. I think it's slow going in the first half. A ton of punts, a couple field goals, 6-6 at half. Second half, point explosion. Browns score 2 touchdowns. Cowboys only score 1. I think
Great
David Njoku scores the game winner.
Great minds think alike, brother, because I have 21-13. How about that? 1 point off.
Both are on the under.
Yeah.
Take note.
Yep. Okay. I think special teams this weekend is going to be to mess Vegas up. It could. Week 1 is a good week to get on Vegas. It is.
And it sets precedent.
Yeah, it does.
So if you can be ahead of the Sharps, is the week to do it.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The NFL season is about to kick off. I will dismiss you to go watch your game and enjoy some NFL football. We appreciate you watching All Eyes on Cleveland. Tell a friend, tell a foe.
Tell everyone
the man
you know.
next door with the big nose. What was it?
Tell a friend, tell a foe, tell everyone you know.
There we go. All right. Not the man next door with the big nose. All right, my bad. All right. Almost a bar. Casey Kinnamon. Follow him at Twitter or X at Casey_Kinnamon. 3 more sleeps. My brother, I love you. I appreciate you. I will see you on game day. And we will talk between then. But thank you all for joining us tonight. A fantastic group of people in the chat contributing to the show. We appreciate your contributions. Thanks for sticking with us, getting us over 3K subs as we climb back up that ladder to where we were. So we appreciate you all. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy some football finally. And we'll see y'all on Sunday. We'll tune in tomorrow night for Things I Think I Know at 7 o'clock on the OBR streaming network. For Casey Kinnamon, my name is Brad Ward. We are out. Go Chiefs.